Every car on this list is a legend worshipped, celebrated, and plastered across a million bedroom walls. And every one of them is, in at least one important way, not quite as good as you've been told. Number 10. 1961 Chevrolet Impala SS 409. The song was faster than the car. The Beach Boys immortalized it in 1962, and ever since, the 409 has carried an outsized reputation as an early muscle car god. Here's the inconvenient part. The full boat, dual quad 409 horsepower version was rare and cranky. The 409 most people actually got ran the quarter mile in the high 14s at under 100 miles an hour quick for a 2-ton full-size car, but nothing to write a hit single about. And it aged fast. Within 2 model years, the mid-sized Jito and the Hemi cars arrived and made the big, heavy 409 look downright sluggish by comparison. The 409 is a genuinely cool engine that got a career's worth of fame from a 2-minute pop song. Strip away the harmony, and you've got a heavy sedan that was outdated almost immediately. She's real fine, she's just not real fast. Number 9. 1969 Chevrolet Camaro Z28, a road race champion cosplaying as a drag king. Let's be clear up front, the Z28 is a brilliant machine. Its 302 small block was wildly underrated at 290 horsepower. The real figure was near 400, and it won back-to-back Trans Am championships. On a twisting road course, it's one of the best handling cars of the entire era. But that's not how it gets mythologized. People talk about the Z28 like it was a stoplight assassin, and it simply wasn't. That high-strung 302 was peaky and, in the words of the period press, genuinely ill at ease on the street, making almost nothing down low. It ran the quarter in the mid-14s, meaning a cheaper big block SS 396 would pull its doors off in a straight line. The Z28 is a track hero, wearing the reputation of a drag racer. Point it at a corner and it's a legend. Point it at a quarter mile and it's just okay. Number 8. 1969 Ford Mustang Mach 1. The Stripes wrote a check the engine couldn't cash. The Mach 1 looks like the fastest thing Ford ever built. The shaker hood, the matte black paint, the racing stripes, that name. And in one specific form, the 428 Cobra Jet, it absolutely delivered. The trouble is, the Mach 1 was fundamentally a trim and appearance package, and most of them left the factory with the base 351 2-barrel making a mild 250 horsepower. That's a good engine in a heavy car good for high 15-second quarters wrapped in the costume of a race car. Buyers paid for the image, and the image was writing checks the standard drivetrain couldn't cover. A genuinely fast car was hiding in the Mach 1 lineup. The problem is that the looks promised it to everybody, and the hardware only delivered it to the few who ticked the Cobra Jet box. Number 7. 1968 Plymouth Roadrunner. Mostly cartoon. The Roadrunner is beloved, and rightly so. It was a brilliant idea, stripping a Belvedere to the bone and selling cheap speed to the masses. But its legend has grown far beyond what the actual car was. The standard engine was a 383 making 335 horsepower. That's genuinely good. It is not, however, special. It ran mid-14s, and its own upscale sibling, the GTX, or any number of big block rivals, would do the same or better. What the base Roadrunner really had going for it was a horn that went beep beep, a Warner Brothers cartoon bird on the fender, and one of the great marketing hooks in automotive history. Take away the nostalgia and the cartoon, and you've got a stripped-down mid-size sedan with a good, not great engine. The character sells the car. The car is just a car. Number 6. 1969 Pontiac Jito, the Judge. You're paying for the paint. Today, a genuine Judge commands a massive premium over a standard Jito, and collectors treat it like a holy relic. Here's what everyone forgets. The Judge began life as a cheap idea, a stripped-down, budget Jito meant to undercut the Roadrunner. Somewhere along the way, it flipped into a flashy flagship, but mechanically, it wasn't the leap the price suggests. The standard Judge came with the Ram Air 3, which was barely quicker than a normally equipped Jito. What you were really buying was a set of loud stripes, a 60-inch rear wing, wild paint, and a name borrowed from a TV comedy sketch. The Judge is worth a fortune today because of how it looks and what it's called, not because of what it does. It's a standard Jito wearing a costume, and the costume is doing all the heavy lifting. Number 5. 1967 Shelby GT 500. The Shelby that stopped being a Shelby. The Shelby name carries enormous weight, and the GT500 rides that mystique straight to seven-figure auction results. But purists will tell you a quiet truth: the GT500 is where the Shelby Mustang went soft. Carroll Shelby made his name with the raw, stripped, razor-sharp GT350, a genuine race car for the street. The 1967 GT500 went the other way. Stuffing the heavy 428 big block up front made it distinctly nose-heavy, and Shelby aimed it at comfort and boulevard cruising rather than corner carving. By this point, Ford had effectively taken the program over, and Shelby himself was drifting away from it. The GT500 is a fast, handsome, wonderful car, but it's a big block Grand Tourer wearing the badge of a giant killing race car, and it trades away exactly the sharpness that made the name mean something. Number 4. 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona. A magnificent answer to a question you'll never ask. The winged Daytona is pure mythology, now the first car to break 200 miles an hour in NASCAR, a $1 million auction unicorn. On a superspeedway, it's an engineering triumph. On the street, it's one of the most overrated cars you could own. Everything that made it brilliant at 190 miles an hour, the 2-foot nose cone, the enormous rear wing is dead weight in the real world, where you'll never go fast enough for the aerodynamics to do anything at all. And in a straight line quarter-mile fight, the standard 440 Daytona ran about 13.9 seconds slower than a cheaper, lighter Roadrunner that didn't need a wing you could see from space. The Daytona was built for one purpose: to homologate a race car. As something to actually drive, you paid a fortune for aerodynamics you can't legally use. Number 3. 1964 Ford Mustang. A falcon in a party dress. No car on this list is more important. The Mustang launched the entire pony car class, sold 1 million copies in under 2 years, and changed the industry forever. As a cultural phenomenon, it's untouchable. As a muscle car, that's the myth. Underneath the gorgeous body, the original Mustang was built on the humble Falcon economy car platform drum brakes, a modest chassis, and a parts bin heart. And the vast majority left showrooms with a straight 6 or a mild small block V8. The image was pure performance. The reality, for most buyers, was a secretary's commuter with unforgettable styling. The Mustang deserves every bit of its place in history. It's one of the most significant cars ever made. It just wasn't, for most of the people who bought it, remotely a muscle car. It was a styling revolution that happened to offer speed as an option. Number 2. The 426 Street Hemi. King Kong had a glass jaw on the street. Say the word Hemi and grown men go weak. It's the most worshipped engine in muscle car history, 425 horsepower, hemispherical heads, the elephant, King Kong. And for the racetrack, the reverence is earned. For the street, it was a temperamental diva. The early solid lifter versions fouled their plugs crawling through traffic, demanded high-octane fuel and constant fiddling, idled like a paint shaker, and cost a small fortune to option. And here's the fact that ends the argument. In period street testing, the far cheaper 446 barrel ran quarter-mile times that matched or beat the Hemi. A 446 pack turned a 12.9 second pass, while Hemi cars typically ran mid-13s, for roughly half the price and vastly better street manners. The Hemi is a legendary race engine. On the street, it was expensive, high-strung, and quietly outrun by its own cheaper cousin. The legend is real, it's just wearing the wrong address. Number 1. 1964 Pontiac Gito. The one that didn't actually start it all. Here it is, the sacred cow. The 1964 Gito is universally crowned the first muscle car, the spark that lit the entire golden age. It's the most mythologized car of the decade, and the myth has 2 enormous holes in it. First, it didn't invent anything. Dropping a big engine into a lighter body was old news. Oldsmobile did it with the Rocket 88 back in 1949, 15 years earlier, and the Chrysler 300 and Rambler Rebel got there too. The Gito didn't create the formula, it just marketed it better than anyone ever had. Second, the legend was partly manufactured. Its explosive fame leaned on a famous 1964 magazine cover story that pitted the Gito against a Ferrari, a test that Pontiac's own marketing man, Jim Wangers, later admitted was run with ringer cars secretly fitted with bigger 421 engines the public couldn't buy. A real, stock Gito ran a perfectly respectable, entirely unmythical mid-15s. The Gito is the most important muscle car ever built, not because it was the first, and not because it was the fastest, but because it outmarketed every rival on the road. It didn't start the fire, it just sold the most matches, and that's the most overrated car of the 1960s. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe.